Oh, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself tonight. Also on the show is Big Stevie, Jaffa, and JB's popped in. Evening, boys.
Good evening. How about you, Oxman? All right? And how's the boys doing? How's Jaffa?
All right, guys. How you doing? Pleased to be here. Thanks for having me on, Ox.
Good evening, everybody. Hope we're all well and recovering from Tuesday night.
How you getting on with the school holidays, GB? All right?
Climbing the walls, Ox. Try to fill time and work
don't
at the same
mate.
time.
You'll go back in 5th year after August, mate.
Oh, keep adding, mate. Keep adding.
How about you, Stevie?
I'm brand new, Ox. I'm brand new. I'm still not in the solids, but I'm absolutely deflated with that team of yours. Really expected more for him. Really did. My heat's still down, honestly. Gutted. Anyway, we move on.
And Jaffa, how are you?
Yeah, a bit like Stevie, still in the huff, but I'm getting out of it. Obviously we'll touch on it, Ox, when we get through the show, but gutted with Tuesday's result. But hey, listen, we need to try and pick ourselves up and get a performance to get the team moving.
Mm-hmm. All right, I might as well let you get it off your chest, right? If you just want to go and mute, we'll let Stevie have his rant and then we'll go straight to the tune, all right? Right, get it off your chest, Biggie.
How do I put it? I would have lined 11 of them up against a wall and shouted fire. I really would have. It was just absolute honking. What I will say is, I thought Tillman had a good first 20 minutes. I thought we played no bad the first start, but after that wee team deserved to win the game. It was never a penalty kick, and if that's what VAR's going to bring to the table, dearie me. I just can't get my head around some of the tactics today, but we all turn into managers when the result doesn't go our way, we all turn into managers, and I'm no man to run anybody down. I'm just keeping my powder dry, but I'm totally deflated about the whole performance. It was a nightmare. Total and utter nightmare, Oxford.
I suppose you don't want to run them down after you've shot them against a wall. Jaffa, man, you
Oh, no. Well, the rest of his Ox just still bamboozled with the setup and what the game plan was. Maybe I'm been overthinking it, but still trying to work out what how the same team turned back out in that 45 minutes after that. And I just can't. I still can't. There's nothing makes any sense in the performance and how that all happened. As Stevie said, for the first 15, I think 18 minutes, we actually looked pretty decent. We had a lot of the ball. We were pushing up. The formation looked good, and then they seemed to squeeze up the game about 10 yards up to the halfway line, and that I don't know what, it just seemed to cause mayhem in our back. I don't know if it was a back five or a back four. I don't know what they were playing, back three. I'm not quite sure themselves if they knew what they were playing. So still trying to make head nor tail of it. It's certainly Gio's one of his, one of only two major blunders, but and how he set the team up and how he gets that sorted, he'll need to, because he's got 5 days now to get 2 performances.
Aye, I get it, mate. I understand. Aye, GB.
Ox, I was more disappointed in the management team rather than the players, because for some reason Gio was hanging a lot of players out to dry. That boy Sands, I mean, that's a few times he started them in important games, and unfortunately the boys had a nightmare. And that other night they're putting them into that defence. I get there's nobody probably else available apart from that boy Davies, but I mean, if Davies is fitting well, he's the number one defender, isn't he? It's just that I just couldn't understand it, and to be honest, as much as Livingston was a win, the warning signs were there that we weren't ready pre-season, which we should have been, and that's where I'm disappointed in Gio. He should have had a settled, hopefully, back four, and knowing what he was going to go forward with. Going into Champions League qualifiers, you just can't be wet behind the ears, mate.
I suppose there was no guarantee that Bassey was going to leave and Bassey would have been playing. So he's been out the door a couple of weeks, and your plan B, Ben Davis, comes in and you've no get time. He doesn't fancy Katic. Obviously, John Suter, I think, would have started, but I don't know what you think. Everything being equal, Jaffa, I think John Suter would have started, no Sands.
Yeah, if Suter had been fit, he would have started Ops. Definitely, I think that would have been the back four. Sands, I think, I agree with what Port was saying there. Sorry, what's GD saying? I think the responsibility lies fairly and squarely with the management team. I don't think you can hang the players out to dry for that, Ox. I mean, they were diabolical in carrying out the game plan, whatever the game plan was. But the game plan was atrocious. But if Suter had been playing, would it really have made any difference? It's one of them, innit? You could overanalyze that all night, but
it could have been worse. We'll never be able to answer that, will you?
No, not at all. You start, hypotheticals come into here, but what happened. What I still, as I said at the outset there, I still can't believe they never changed it. I can't believe he never saw. I mean, I was flabbergasted. I was doing my hands and knees when the same team turned out in the second 45. I mean, right away, I would have took Sands off because of that challenge after getting a yellow card. And then he had two further challenges after it that he could have been sent off easily. And, with 5 substitutes nowadays, Ox, that really baffled me. Really baffled me.
I get it, mate. I think a really, really wise man said that Tuesday night and Wednesday night, mate. A really, really wise man. Stevie, it's gone. On you go, mate. Can I
just say, like GB and thing is saying about the management team there, I've got to say it's a joint venture. I don't think a lot of the players were getting their all. I wouldn't say any of them left it out there. None of them. Normally in a game, even when you're bad, you've got 1 or 2 players that play no bad. I just thought, apart from Tillman, maybe in the first 20 minutes, I thought the whole team were rank. Absolutely rank. And to that end, they've got to look at themselves too. I do agree, the management team as well, but it's a team game, and I just think that they got it wrong. The players didn't leave everything out there. The management team didn't execute the game good enough for me. But it's a nightmare, man. It's behind us. Are the Teddy Bears capable of scoring a goal in each half at Ibrox? Of course they are. So the only thing we could do is get our sleeves rolled up, get the flags above our heads, and let's get tore in here next week.
Aye, it's gone. You've got a chance to rectify it. It could have been worse, GB. It could have been a knockout tie, and it wasn't, No.
I mean, if the penalty doesn't get gained, then we're walking away with a 1-0, and we're probably happy with that, to be honest, the way the night was going on, Ox. But it's 2-0. We've proven last season in Europe that we can come back for being behind. So, like I says, it's a big game on Saturday now, really, isn't it? Because they've got to put in a performance, and then that performance is going to be taken into Tuesday. So, I really hope Gio gets a right good 3-0 win or something like that on Saturday to lift the team, lift the fans, and then there's all confidence going into Tuesday. Because if it doesn't, Ox, there's got to be questions asked.
GB, can I ask you a question? See if we got away with a 1-0, but if the penalty didn't happen, it was never a penalty kick. Everybody on the planet knows it, apart from VAR and that referee. But let's be honest, you still wouldn't be happy with that performance, surely.
But it's like damage limitation, Stevie. That's
Stevie.
100%.
Stevie, I'll cut across you and trump you what you're saying. I get it. Does anybody remember Braga away, Jaffa?
Oh, that was a performance to you'll never watch that game again. Never. I mean, Braga could have towed us about 4-0 that night, and probably should have. They got a goal chopped off that was soft. We got a free kick for it with Ryan Jack, if you remember. It was a similar performance, Ox. Same setup. That Lundstrom was playing it right back, and I see. What was all that about?
Red Star away when they missed the 2 sitters, and we luckily broke away and scored and pretty much finished the tie. But remember, we were 2-0 done.
Mm-hmm. Listen, we're away for him. When we look back, look, we had a great run there. Don't I'm not one to get dragged right into. We need to start watching our Europe. As he says, 1-0, we're taking it back to Ibrox. We're happy days with that because we know with the crowd and the Bears at Ibrox. Ibrox is a fortress in Europe. So I've got every bit of confidence we're going to turn this around. I mean, a goal in each half. But some of our performances, I mean, as you said there, Ox, Braga in Europe, man. I was watching that game through my fingers. It was absolute rank rotten. And here we're finding ourselves with another rank rotten performance. And when you look back in games, we had wee phases in games where we played no bad. But we need to start getting it right, man. We need to start. I mean, our mindset should have been, wait a minute here, we've beat Dortmund, we've beat Leipzig, we've beat all these top teams not that long ago, 6 months ago. No, it's not even that. How long was the final there? Just there, a couple of months. So we should have been getting into that game really with this team with a bit of swagger, saying, right, no, and the way we started, I thought we did. But, man, we need to play better than that. I mean, I'm going to, if Rangers start like that and the way they finished there, I'm going to be, they pies at Ibrox are deadly trying to eat them, never mind flinging them for 30 seats up. So, they better get their fingers out.
I can't see that happening.
But
I'll
part me a pie, definitely.
I just can't see it happen. I might be wrong, but I can't see it happen.
Right. Get the bet shot. The Copeland daughter returns.
Right, okay. So, look, I think everybody that's been on the show's pretty much, the script's been the same. You know, usually sometimes you get somebody blaming this, somebody saying if we should have went with this formation, we should have done this, but everybody said pretty much the same thing. So, GB, we need to move on for it. So, 43 years ago, the day, in a Dryborough Cup final, 1979, David Cooper scored arguably one of the best bits of skill you'll ever see, and also a great finish as well. Simple goal made, a hard skill made really, really easy by one of our all-time greats. 43 years ago, a great goal, and I'm going to challenge you, boys, and the listeners, for the top 3 Rangers goals that they've seen live. Yeah. Obviously, Jaffa might have seen Cooper's goal live. I was obviously far too young to see that, no. But something to think about, boys, and try and get a bit of drag us back into a good mood, Jaffa, if that makes sense. But 43 years ago, I know he's a Hamilton lad. We'll get 2 of them on the show tonight. What a goal, and I take it you've seen it literally hundreds of times. Jaffa.
Oh, aye, Ox, I've watched that clip. That was a brilliant goal by Cooper. I don't think you could wax lyrical about that. You'll never get tired of it. It was a great bit of skill. Cooper had that obviously in his locker, as we all saw as Rangers fans. Davy Cooper on the wing. Funny, I was in that area of Hamilton just a few weeks back, and I still always jogs a tear in my throat when I think by the big procession going up Hill House Road as he was going up towards the cemetery. What a sad miss, a sad loss he is to our club. But great player Davy Cooper was. Unbelievable.
GB. Aye, Ox, I mean, Cooper, for the videos I watch back on, or YouTube videos and stuff like that, it's amazing to think how much a guy like that would be worth in nowadays money. I mean, it's crazy. And do you think, that's the thing as well, do you think Cooper would have stayed with the club as well as long in the current situation with the way football is nowadays? You don't know. But I tell you, what a top talent to have at our club, and we've been lucky that way with our kind of wingers. We could be doing with some of that talent in that midfield in Ox.
Obviously, like all wingers, Stevie, he wasn't consistent and had his bad games as well as his good games. But when he was good, wow, was he good there?
Unbelievable. And he's probably maybe going to get into 2 of my favourite goals that I've seen live as David. Absolutely brilliant player. Left footer, one day a left foot.
Aye, 1 foot. No great pace, 1 foot. But what a foot he had there.
Aye, unreal. I remember at one of the rallies, I think he get presented a right foot.
That was his testimonial dinner, mate. That was his testimonial dinner.
Because when it presented, something's no good. He's got everything in the world, but here's something's no good. It was a right foot. Oh, what a player. I mean, you've got guys like, I think it was your Gillett who was talking about Davy Cooper was one of the best they ever seen. That just sums it up, doesn't it? That just sums it up.
Aye. And unfortunately, modern football, it was just somebody behind the goal with a cine camera that recorded it, Jaffa, or would have lost it for posterity.
I know. It's hopefully stuff like that, Ox, is on a big screen as you walk in the museum. You know, when Edmondson House is done. I mean, there's obviously we've got our club has got a history of, you know, oozing out it, and it's hard to capture all that. But I mean, Cooper certainly, I guess, for our generation, and no including you, of course, Ox. But
thank you.
Maybe me and Stevie's gen, and you know, GB being the younger generation, you've got to hang on to stuff like that, and it's good to get that even into the kids, you know, so that they can see how good Davy Cooper actually was, and many other players, of course, you know, with Sandy Jardins and, you know, Fernando Rickson and stuff like that, and the goalie, of course, who's just recently passed away. So it's brilliant to have stuff like that, and the museum's going to be, for me, that's going to be the kind of jewel in the crown, if you want, of our club, and that should be what we should all be seeing and taking the kids down to see.
Aye, I get it. So you used to get your thinking hats on, yeah? I think Stevie's got his. He's got that Argos pen that he writes all his Christmas cards with.
Stevie's bookies at the full game. A wee bookie.
Aye, okay. So just think about that and we'll come back to it. We've got a big game on Saturday and it's important that we get a victory. Jaffa.
It is important, Ox. I mean, as GB was saying just a wee while ago there, they've really got to put up a performance in, or the pressure. Unfortunately, the pressure could start to mount if we don't. Nothing more than a win is absolutely paramount. We've got to get the 3 points, and more importantly, we want a performance, don't we? And I agree with Stevie as well. They've got that. They can bounce back. We've proved that. But it'll be good to see a really good performance in Saturday, Ox.
Aye, it's one of the occasions where you want both. Stevie?
Aye. Oh, look, listen, we've got to hit the ground running on Saturday. We have got to, after that performance. That crowd will not tolerate us struggling along with Kilmarnock at Ibrox. After the people were brought in and the team that the players that's already there, we need to hit the ground running. Listen, I thought we were really good against Livingston in the second half. It could have been ending up to 4-1, to be perfectly honest. But we're at Ibrox. Me personally, I'd love to see him playing a 3-5-2 at Ibrox and just get out in for it.
Does that not put that to bed, Stevie? Does Tuesday night not put that to bed?
No,
if that goes slightly wrong, you end up with 7 at the back.
I understand that. But should it go wrong? Ibrox 30,000 bells behind.
If you play Ridvan and Tav, where do you play Kent and Matondo?
Kent, will he still be injured or what?
Well, let's assume he's fit.
I get it. So they can't sneak up the park. I get what you're saying. I get it. But, man, we should just be going all out. We should be going all out, man. After that performance, we should be making it up to the crowd, because I'll tell you what, I was utterly embarrassed with that performance. And then so should they be when they watch it back again. Surely they'll sit down and look at that and go, geez, they're like a team that never played together before. That shows you how bad it is.
Agree. All right. Before we go to GB, let's hear from East.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
GB.
Saturday's massive, Hawks. There's no other way to put it. Like I says, Gio has already been questioned last season for a couple of things with the way we lost the title and stuff like that. And again, the way we've started the season, I know Stevie touched on that the second half against Livingston, it was all us. But again, we huffed and puffed. We didn't put chances away, and then you go into that game on Tuesday, you get that type of performance. I just think if he goes in a Saturday with a weak performance, ultimately if it's a win, happy days. But even at that, there'll still be folk then talking about Gio and questioning him and stuff like that if it's a lacklustre performance. He's really got to. I think Tav hopefully is probably went in to have a word with the gaffer about the tactics, because that the other night there, I never seen Tav anywhere near their box the way he usually is in a European match. You know what I mean? That's how we were so successful. We had Tav up there, we had Lundstrom playing more further forward. He wasn't covering for Tav all the time. You know what I mean? And it's I can remember last season, I think Tavernier had to have a word with Gio about the tactic, because he was saying that you're making me just sit as a defender, whereas I'm strong going forward. And that the other night there, all you seen was Tav sitting as a defender, and Rabi was the one that was meant to make everything happen going forward. And the two of them just weren't clicking at all.
But what they done when Tavernier got the ball, mate? They just stood two players in front of him. They obviously done their homework.
Aye. I know, but even at that, you'd think Rabi would try and help him out the way what I says that, like, even to be honest, the other night there was like, bring back Scott Wright, because I'm no Scott Wright's biggest fan, but at least Scott Wright's got an understanding of how Tav works. And you're just looking for something in the team. And like Stevie touched on it, that the manager gives out the instructions, you've got to go out and put a performance in. It's up to the team as well to try and help themselves on the park. But again, come Saturday, it's a clean slate. They're at home. All the fans will be right behind them. And what I say is, give them a performance, and then all that confidence will lose into Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. It needs to be it's strange usually with league games, Jaffer. It's only about winning it, really, let's be honest. But I think we need a performance to give the fans a bit of a lift as well.
Yeah, we do, Ox. We do need a performance. We need both of them. As Stevie said there, we need the performance and we need the result. And the result comes if the performance is at the right level and the attitude's right, and they go onto the pitch with the right attitude, and they go on to win. And they go on to play as a team. I mean, obviously with the new guys coming in, we've got some teething problems here. I mean, Matondo wasn't coming back. He wasn't helping Tavernier out when he was getting the overload, or when the 1-2s were getting played. I have to say, I'm not. My thoughts when I was watching that game the other night there, I would have had Sakala on before I had Matondo on. I think Sakala on a night would have been better than what Matondo was. And then on the other side, obviously, because we didn't have Kent, and if we've got Kent back on Saturday, Kent and Ridwan have got to develop an understanding. And I know he's a left back that likes to push forward, but the great thing about Kent is Kent recognises that, and Kent likes to play that when Borna plays that way. And if we've got Lundstrom sitting, Lundstrom should sit and be able to do that sweeper role. We're sitting in front of the back four. I mean, personally, on Saturday, I would play something like a 4-1 or a 4-1. With possibly Matonda, Sakala outside, Lawrence in the middle with Tillman, and if Kent's fit, Kent and Cholak up front. With the back four being, probably, I would imagine either Davis or Suter. I don't know if Suter's back. If he's back from, I think he had some personal stuff to deal with. So I don't know if Suter's back available, Ox.
Listen, if Davis is fit to play half an hour, it's Tuesday. He's got to be fit to start, mate.
Yep.
Some of this stuff, there's lack of consistency with it, mate. I said it last night on the show. We played three guys that's hardly kicked a ball for us. Ryan Jack, Tillman and Matondo. Where's the minutes and the legs with them? Or are they different?
I think that's what showed up, Ox. I mean, I thought Ryan Jack was... I think saying he's a yard off pace was probably being kind to him. I thought he looked a bit overweight, if the truth be told.
Yeah, I think the last time I seen a bum as big as that was in Malaga, mate. Somebody going to the bar.
Fox, we spoke about this when we were watching the pre-season games, and I was saying about how I wanted an 11. I wanted a settled 11 going into the start of the season, and obviously it was going to be hard to do that because you had to give guys minutes.
You can't just get 11 players fit, mate.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. We had to give them minutes and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. There's no excuse. Ben Davies, like you says, if he's fit and he can play for half an hour, just put him straight in the team. Just get him in about it because he's a proper left-sided defender. And then Barisic, again, kind of getting hung out to dry because you're putting a guy next to him who is not comfortable in that defender position, and Sands. Connor Golson's having to cover for Sands because Sands is no too sure of the position. And again, it's all out of shape with Glenn Kamara, Lundstrom and all the rest of it. It just made too many changes the other night there that I think totally didn't help a lot of players. Whereas I've got a wee bit of sympathy for Bourne. He has been awful, but it's that kind of way that we're not really helping him as a team. We're making problems for him. Like John Suter the other week there. I mean, John Suter's new into the defence. There needs to be an understanding there built up, and they've not been playing that in pre-season. They've not been to have a settled four for a while. So this is where it all goes back to the manager, and that's how I'm like challenging them to start to show their qualities.
Anyway, talking about quality streets, we couldn't find anybody. We found the Malteser kid. How are we doing, David?
Yeah, I'm fine, guys. I think we're just... good evening, boys. Nice to hear you all again. I've not spoken to a few yous for a few months. I think we need to move on here.
It's unusual for you to phone him and Linda's no on.
I did. I phoned last night.
Linda was on.
Aye.
That's what I said. It's unusual for you to phone in when Linda's on.
I picked you out wrong there. My apologies. But, yeah. No, well, I was talking to Fox there about this lineups. We talk about formations. I was watching an old YouTube tonight, a Rangers Celtic game, and there's 5 of them all lined up to take the kick-off. Centre forward, 2 insides and an outside, and an outside left and an outside right. And then we've got this bamboozling formations. And I think half of them couldn't understand where they were on Tuesday. That just was going to be down to the coaching. And just before, I'd like to tell you my 3 best goals I've seen live.
Yes.
Right? First one, going back in the time, was Colin Steen in Barcelona. That's my first one.
Colin Steen's goal. Yeah.
Okay. My second one, was the Driver Cup final, Davy Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Out of this world. And one where I could pick out quite a few, but one I thought was really important was Ali McCoy's scoring the winner of the Scottish Cup at Parkhead when he done an overhead kick. That was superb.
You mean the League Cup final and extra time?
Oh, sorry, League Cup. No, it was Aberdeen.
No, the League Cup final extra time winner was against Hibs, mate. Yeah.
At Parkhead?
In Parkhead, 1993, mate.
Huh? No.
He came off the bench. He was coming back for his broken leg and he done the overhead kick. Yeah.
It was in the 80s, was it?
No, 93, mate.
Oh, I'm losing it.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, David.
No, I'm right. I know I'm right. That's what I was against Aberdeen.
No, when McCoy scored the winner with an overhead kick, the League Cup final, extra time, 1993.
I was in Barrel in 93, so I couldn't have seen it.
Well, don't tell it. Sunday. I think I'm going to say October 93. There you go. Maybe November.
I'm going to query that one because you could be right, but I can't see it.
There's no could be about it.
Come on, guys, help me out here.
There could be about it.
The overhead kick was against Celtic at Parkhead, Davy. The final was getting played at Parkhead because Hampden was getting redeveloped.
Aye, but it wasn't against Hibs.
Yes, it was. It was. League Cup final, 1993, yeah.
He'd just come back for his broken leg. Come on as a sub.
Yep.
Yes. But it wasn't against Hibs.
The jungle was still standing. Because I was in the jungle.
There was seats in the jungle, yeah.
Well, this is a good debate going here. This is a good debate going.
Well, David,
thanks for the call, boys.
Just give me 1 second.
That's a trivia one. That's a trivia one.
It's no trivia, David. You're right.
No, it was Aberdeen.
It wasn't.
My second one is a sub overhead kick. Stonewaller out in the pokey hat.
Mark Haitley scored the winner against Aberdeen at Parkhead, the Scottish Cup final.
The one.
I never said it was a winner. I know McCoy scored, but I think McCoy's equalised actually.
No, McCoy's got the winner against Hibs. Overhead.
I don't remember him playing Hibs at Parkhead.
Yep.
Because I don't go there often. I don't go there regularly. That's how I know.
There we go. It was still the Skull Cup final. Yeah. It was still the Skull Cup. I'm just trying to get the date in that for you.
You need to stop taking that glue.
September.
I'm trying to get it. It's coming up. Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
Fox is going up, but I don't know. It's not downloading, but aye, David, I'll get the details on the game, but it was definitely anyway. It's still in your top 3 goals. Good selection.
Yes, it was. And regarding the Tuesday, I think we need to move on, guys. What's concerning me is where are we going to find that extra that we need to beat even Kilmarnock and then go in and play Ratmore? Because they've only got a couple of days, and what we watched on Tuesday is going to be a big turnaround, because that was just unacceptable. It was rock bottom, and he'll need to really get into their ears and get them up, pull their socks up a wee bit.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's got enough time.
You're right. That's a good point. I'm just going to post this in the call so the boys can see it and see that I'm right. There we go. There's it's on the screen this now. And who's that we're playing against? If you can see it, boys.
That's Hibs.
That's Hibs. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Davey, great goal.
Yes.
Poignant goal. Good goal. And it won the cup for us. Good selection.
It did that.
Mm-hmm. Good selection. Colin Steen's goal in Barcelona. Great goal.
Yes.
Oh, unbelievable goal. That was a brilliant goal.
Talking about that, talking about Barcelona, has everybody seen the Barcelona Bears on Amazon? Has everybody watched it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Superb.
Stevie?
No, I've not seen it, Ox.
Right, yeah, make sure you get it. It's very emotional. It's a great story, and it's worth a watch, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You take the words out of my mouth there, Ox. It's very... I had a tear in my eye.
Aye.
I had a tear in my eye. Not just because I was there, but when you can relate to a lot of these things, and if I'm not wrong, there's something about the disaster in it as well.
I obviously it talks about coming back for that. Well, you're the guy, did you see you in the video with the sideburns?
When?
I think everybody had big sideburns then, didn't they?
No, my hair went down our sideburns in the days. That was a long hairstyle then. 70s.
Have you seen it, GB?
I did, Ox. The bit about the fans travelling was funny because, I mean, we found it that hard to get to Seville in this modern day age, but fans jumping in motors, driving all the way to Barcelona for Govan and all that. I mean, that must have been some trip. That's unbelievable. Jumping on buses and and all sorts. Obviously what was it when they got to the stadium and stuff like that? All the fans getting on the pitch and stuff. It was great. It was great to see.
I was on the pitch, but not for long because I was getting battered with a big baton.
Oh,
that's
Things
true,
have never changed.
That's how we can't remember if it was Hibs were playing.
Aye, you know, you're bag in the heat.
I'm still debating that one, by the way.
The boys have seen it in video. I've posted it. You've seen it, GB, ain't you?
yeah, Ox, yep, I've seen it, yep.
And it's definitely Hibs, isn't it?
An overhead kick by Alan McCoy.
Yes.
I'll take your word for it, but I'm still going to look into it.
The Scottish Cup final at Parkhead when we won in 1993, the same year, McCoy wasn't playing and came on after the game because he was in crutches because he broke his leg playing for Scotland.
No, this was against Aberdeen, this game.
That's what I'm saying, because the game that we won the Scottish Cup, McCoy never played at Parkhead.
I'm looking at it all anyway. And by the way, guys, see, you're talking about how you get to Barcelona. Here's one for you. I went by train.
Right. You must have
I didn't get a train across the giant English Channel. We went in the ferry. What a journey that was, I'll tell you.
How many days was that?
Oh, sorry.
Many days did that take you?
Took me, we went for a week. We left on a Friday and we got there on a Sunday.
There's commitment for you.
We nearly missed our connection in Paris to get the Barcelona Express, but it was worth it. But that was so you never forget about someone else. Take it in my grave. It
was a shame the fans, obviously back in the days, it was harder to get back, came quicker because obviously they'd done a parade with the trophy and stuff like that.
I never even seen that. I wasn't back in time.
That's what I was going to say, because all the fans were still stuck in Barcelona.
It was lashing doing that. I was sitting getting my bum burnt Barcelona. It was great. And they were all getting soaked, but I'd love to have seen it. I'd still not seen the only time I've seen the cup was the one that they've got a replica at Ibrox.
Special memories. If you've not seen that video, Stevie, get on it. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's very emotional, you know.
Problem.
It's worth a watch. And once you're finished that, look who the cup finals 1993. You'll see that Alan McCoy's never played in any. It's never started.
Well, he did the game I was at.
Your nurse will begin you around the night, Davey.
Oh, no. We have separate rooms. This has been going on since COVID started. The best thing that ever happened to me. I've got a 50-inch telly. She's got her telly. I've got a go, and she's got what she goes. And she brings the Maltesers in.
Is it still the same code, Davey? Do you whistle if you you know what I mean?
Oh, no, we just phone each other now.
And did she shoot through? Was that you whistling, Dave, when it's on the way about?
The tears are running down my cheek. Fabulous. I'm telling you guys, you are brilliant. You are great. You're good at doing what you're doing, son. I'll tell you, you're really good.
Right, Steve. Steve, in you go. Tell him it was Hibs. So you must have. I've sent you the video. You must have watched it.
It was 100% Hibs, and it was overhead kick. He came on and won us the game after his leg break with Scotland. 100%, Davey. Davey, can I just ask you, see your big 42-inch telly, the best thing that's happened to you? Have you got babe stuff?
50-inch, excuse me, 50-inch. Get right. Well, I never caught the last bit here.
Remember you measure it corner to corner, Dave?
Oh, no, it's something that was, see that on the receipt.
Davey, if you get channel 592. If you get...
No, it's I've got 169. Oh.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Aye, that good selection. Colin Steen. Obviously, Davy Cooper's in second place, and the winner. What was that? Right, Alan McCoy's overhead kick. You're getting that the winner.
Well, that was the most modern one I've seen. But I've seen everybody's. All you guys are the same. We've all seen fantastic goals.
Aye, okay. Have you time to think of yours yet, GB?
Well, I've got mine.
Aye, yep. I've got my three lined up.
All right, okay. On you go, GB. Let's hear them.
So my first one is October 2007, and it was DeMarcus Beasley in the Champions League against Lyon away.
When they ran, broke away and scored.
Broke away and composure it took to put the ball away. And
are you sure it was DeMarcus Beasley? Are you sure it was Marseille? just call me Davey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're making me panic there and think, am I talking about the right goal? There was two other fantastic goals that night, Ox, but that one's the one that kind of stick. That's the one that kind of sticks out for me.
Daniel Kuzan get the other?
Correct.
Aye.
Yep, we did that. Aye. Right. He scored a cracker that night as well.
Aye. All right, bye. Go on then. Number 2.
Number 2 is Joe Aribo in our current Seville final.
All right, okay, for the emotion and that, yeah.
Yep, and just again, drama and composure to finish it. And probably my top one is the 2003 Arteta penalty. Watching that live and he banged that away. Won his the league that day.
Aye. Young boy was Arteta. Showed a bit of cojones, went up and done it.
Aye. So maybe no spectacular goals, Ox, but certainly live and emotional. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Jaffa.
Too many to choose from, isn't there? There's that many. Probably one of my favourites was Van Bronckhorst's goal that I saw when he scored left footer against Monaco back in 2000. I was over there for that game. Mm-hmm. Second one would have been Albert's pile driver, free kick, sitting right behind it in the main stand in enclosure, rather. The day he scored against Celtic, right into the bottom corner. He took about 3 players with him that day, the speed and the power. And I can't see past Gazza's second goal against Aberdeen when we won the league.
Oh, great shout, mate.
What a goal that was. That was a brilliant goal.
Was that against Aberdeen or Hibs?
I'm still going to look on you. I'm still going to look at you.
Still Davey.
All right. Magpie's joined us. Evening, Magpie. How are you
doing, lads?
Great to hear from you.
I'm on a break just now. It's just good to hear you guys back. I just wanted to give my opinion about the game, all right, lads. You know what? I say it's always my opinion. I think the truth of the matter, I think we're expecting too much for this team and we're forgetting where we've came from. It wasn't that long ago we were listening to teams like Alloa and all this, right? But if you look at last year, right, and I put it in the lobby, we lost 7 matches in Europe, and a lot of them are under due away from home and performances that were similar to the ones we've seen there. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from Rangers as I'm what they've done to where they've came from. But look at their team, look at their back four. How many caps have we got in that team? We want to go into Champions League and go toe-to-toe with people, and we just don't have the resources for it. I'd be quite happy to drop into the Europa League, mate. And the truth of the matter is, we've been all prepared again this season. We should have been playing away matches away from home and against European teams and playing the system we were going to play in European matches. My concern, mate, is defensively we're shocking. The Sunderland game, the half a game, with 9 men in the box, we lost a goal, and basically two guys in the box. I looked at, playing Blackpool away from, I don't know what it's achieving, and to be quite honest with you, mate, my honest opinion, we should have kept Aribo until the qualifiers were over. And I know people will say, well, we would have got the money, and he would have played because Aribo could have got a bigger move to a better club.
We didn't have any choice in it, mate. He activated his release.
But what I mean is, they could have said to him, look, we'll let you go after the qualifiers. You can definitely go. You know what I mean? And he would have given him a chance, a platform to play, against a top team and be recognised. But actually, you can understand. But the truth of the matter, mate, our priority this year is the league. Without a doubt, it's got to be the league. What I can't understand is we've brought so many players in, they've come in bits and bobs. There doesn't seem to be a system or a structure. I'm not 100% convinced about Kolak. I would have rather had some pace, a pacier forward than that. The truth of the matter is, mate, if Gio's been slated, and I'm a Gio fan, I think there's a lot he's got going for him. I think he's a gentleman. I think he's a classy man. But Fearnor fans said he was a bit negative. Now, if you look at that graph, I don't know if you've seen the graph, the passes that Rangers made, and it was all sideways. There were never any passes in the three court, in the box or anything. That concerns me, mate. And somebody said about the over-reliance in Kent in European matches. Again, it's true. But we have lost a few players. We've lost big players that have played well in Europe for us. Morelos, Bassi, Aribo, Kent, even Hadji last year against Braga 2 years ago, whatever. We have lost players, and it will take time to get these players in. But mate, we've got to be sharper in this. We need to be coming out at home and against match. I'm expecting them just to come out for the first whistle and run teams ragged. I don't want them to see them bedding into games, taking 15, 20 minutes to get into a game and be a goal down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to give them credit for its due. I think they're shite, and they're going to take the downs in Europe. They will, because they don't have a defence. But they at least have got more firepower. They've got goals in nearly every part of the team, and they will run at teams and score more goals. Now, what's the B team? The B team's a much more attacking team than this Rangers team, but they've still got the same defensive frailties, and that worries me, Ox. But that was my point, mate. I do think that we have to remember where we came from. It wasn't that long ago we were getting beat to Ireland and stuff like that, and we have to be realistic. Look at our team. I think I've looked at some of the old videos of Rangers games, and there was players on the bench who had more caps than our full team score.
Did you get the one at Alan McCoy scoring an overhead winner against Aberdeen in the 1993 Skull Cup final?
Yes.
Hibs it was.
Thank you, Magpie.
And it was he came on to sub. He broke his leg about 2 weeks, a couple of months before.
100% correct. Thank you, mate.
Right, but just my point, man. And again, it's my opinion. I worries me the Rangers are always ill prepared for these matches coming up.
It looks that way, mate. It looks that way, and there's been criticism with some of the things that we were so positive about, the flexibility, the fitness. None of it seemed to be there on Tuesday, for being honest. Jaffa and Stevie.
No, that was the thing that glared out to me for watching the game. Ox, I thought our fitness was really poor, and I thought that there was no system, there was no structure to the team in the way we were playing, and clearly you could see a lot of the players were really uncomfortable in the structure and what they were trying to do, and when that team got up after about 18 minutes, when they got up the park. They never looked back. They pushed us back for most of the first half, and then there was no changes. As I said, just disappointed where there was no other, nobody else that could come in for Sands. He couldn't change it. He couldn't change the structure of the midfield, and he couldn't either recognise that Matondo had to come off because Matondo wasn't in the game.
Magpie.
Well, that team know Matondo. They played in the building league, they know him. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sorry, I don't know how I cut in there. I didn't mean to. I apologise. What's happened is with the Belgians, the second team in the Belgian league, irrespective of, we're a much bigger club than them. You would expect them. Look at, we play in a league that's one of the worst leagues in Europe. I'm not going to. The Motherwell result, that wasn't a fluke. That happens. These teams can beat them. And this is the kind of league we're playing in. It's a kick and rush. Well, you're allowed physicality against footballers. You're allowed to kick them up and down the park. You're allowed to get in people's faces. You're allowed to stop play whatever way possible. You wouldn't get away with in Europe. And when these teams go into Europe, where models in the world, and they have to play to the rules everybody else does, they fail. But up here, we're always going to have a chance. And Rangers aren't learning anything here. In my honest opinion, mate, I love Rangers. I can't watch Scottish football. I will not watch a Scottish football match the Rangers aren't involved in. It's so bad. I wouldn't watch that in a national team. I've got no love for them whatsoever. I couldn't care less if they get beat with anybody. But the truth of the matter is, mate, if Rangers were playing in the third division in England, I'd be happy to watch them. Because I love my club. But at this moment in time, we can't expect to do anything. They want to come and play in this shithole. Let's be upfront honest about it. Anybody with any ambition. Unless you want a move like the boys are trying to get a move. Now, Kamara, to me, body language is, I would sell him if you get the opportunity. That's my truth of the matter. His two best friends are away. You don't need anybody sulking about the park. I just don't think. I think when these two boys have left a big hole in the dressing room. There doesn't seem to be that sort of, do you know what I mean, friendship. We're all waiting for Morelos to go away, but Morelos is injury prone. If somebody says he's never injured, he misses so many games. It's untrue. If it's not that through suspension, Roof it's a big miss. So Roof to me is probably one of the best finishers. But there we go. We brought Defoe in, right? Streetwise guy, a guy who can still score goals. We brought Kovac in, and I don't even know what system we're playing with him, man. I don't see us. I can see us struggling to break teams down.
He's not any service.
No, that's what I mean. I can see struggling, but you can get a guy like. You've had a guy like Moles could take a defence on himself. You've got a guy like Morelos. It's a one-man wrecking crew. Even Roof.
You had to get the ball up to them before they could do anything.
Do you think Kolak looks a business? Honest opinion. I know we were quick to judge. We're quick to judge Lindstrom, and I want the guy to succeed. But do you think you've got time?
A guy that comes alive between the posts and the box, mate.
Do you think we've got time, mate? Do you think we've got the time to do this?
Oh, you've never got time at Rangers. And you come, Stevie.
First of all, Magpie, I agree with most of the things you said. I remember a while back you were on and you had a right rant, and I was actually up off the couch clapping you, mate. I agreed with a lot of things you said that night too. The two things that you've said tonight worry me is the defence as well. Our defence is like a tea strainer, and we need to shore it up. I don't know how they do it because they keep chopping and change the right side of it. The left side of it. So it seems to be Suter, and then we're saying, is it going to be Davis? And no, we keep chopping and changing that. But the defence, I mean, I thought the keeper should have done better with a goal the other night too. But that's where I think you're right. Also, I think you're talking about Kent's a big miss for us in Europe, 100%. I mean, me and Ox stood at Blackpool and we discussed Kent, and they didn't look interested at times. And then it's not easy at that team, and you see how much you really miss him. And I thought he was a big miss the other night. What we need to stop doing, Magpie, is, and it's because I'm very much the same as you. I was there through all the 9 in a row, right through, and we need to stop comparing players of the past like Laudrup, Gaza, etc., to the boys we've got now. I mean, it's just
I agree 100%.
Just a different world, mate. You know, the guys would have walked into any team. I'm not too sure about the team we've got now would walk into any team, but Laudrup, Gaza, guys like that could have walked into any team in Europe. Any team in the world, I'd say. But anyway.
And to be upfront and honest, we had our dealings in Europe with that team as well. You know, I mean,
terrible results.
You know, and some of the Europeans, but we're up against one of the best teams I've ever seen in my life, Juventus. That Juventus team were unbelievable. I mean, Del Piero and stuff like that. But I think we've got to remember where we came from, and maybe our expectations are a bit high. I was talking about the Red Star Belgrade game, right? How fortunate we were. But over the two, everybody not front runs, but they get 2 goals borderline and they missed a penalty. That could have been so different in that whole tie. And again, we were back to the wall stuff. The Dortmund game was perfection, and Gio quite rightly took the borders for it. But the rest of the games he played away from home, it was back to the wall stuff. Even Leipzig away, and you look at, somebody mentioned that, I think it was Garth Brown, in the lobby earlier on about some of the great results we had at Villarreal, at Benfica, at Porto. That was under Gerrard. Gio's much more reserved.
We're no threat. Listen, in domestic matches, Magpie, and I'll take this to GB, we're not even threatening a goal as often as we were under Stevie G. It's a fact. You can see it. We don't work the goalie. If you think of the first half against Livingston, I don't think we had an effort.
No, definitely not.
No. It was a downfall last season, Ox, as well. It was just we just kept going down the wings and trying to cross it in and hope to get the equaliser or get back in the game, and even the Livingston game, the alarm bells for me were ringing right away, because we were just, again, we're not driving into the box. See when we've seen that West Ham game in pre-season. See the way Tom Lawrence hit the ball first time and scored the goal, and Rabbi ran into the box and put it away. I was like, finally.
So that's a friend.
I know.
With the other team. That's how you judge them on Tuesday. No West Ham.
No, I know, Ox, but what I mean is that the setup, the attacking way that they were playing, that to me, I was like, hello, we've arrived. This is what I want to see out of Rangers. And that's what I was hoping for against Livingston. I was hoping that we were going to go in and just run at Livingston. I mean, that J-League seems to be able to do it, no bother, and run into these teams. And I just can't accept that they're going to be a far better attacking team than the players we've got, because we've got good players in amongst there. But Gio really needs to get this sorted out, because it's causing a lot of fans to start questioning, not so much him, the full management team.
Can I ask you something?
No, you can't, because we're going to have a tune. All right, get yourself a mute and we'll be right back, and we'll start with you, Biggie. Let's have a tune.
you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
That was especially for Davey to go and get a Mrs. Maltese and get a wee dance round the scullery. How we do? Are we all back?
Step McGailey, on we go, heel for heel and toe for toe.
Can I just cut in there, Oaks?
Yes, mate.
This is a wee. I've just checked my official Rangers annual 2005, and I have to apologise. But I was sure it was Aberdeen. But that's what happens when you get 74.
We'll let you off, David. We'll let you off. Don't worry about it. Sorry. All right, sugar. Steve, you will want to come back in there. You will want to come back in. Stevie.
I was just before the break, I was just going to ask the troops a question. We had a nightmare against Hibs, and look how strong a run we went on right after that nightmare. Do you think this is a good thing that we played as bad as that nightmare there? Do you think we can come out now and learn for that and maybe put a wee run together?
Yeah.
Is it a good thing that we had that game that early in the season rather than later on?
Well, even in the tie, we've still got time to rectify it. Jaffa.
I think it is, Stevie, aye. And I think we can. I think he can get it sorted out. I think we have got the personnel. I agree with a lot with what Magpie was saying, but one thing I would say is I would rather get to the Champions League and finish third and drop into the Europa League. I'm greedy that way. Because I think the club could be doing with the money, and I think that'll let us, at least if not in this window, but move on to the next window, sign some better players. So my take on it, Stevie, I think we can sort it, and I've got every confidence. I think Tuesday night, I think he'll turn it over.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, Davey, last shout out for you, mate.
Well, I agree with what Magpie was saying and what Stevie just said. But I think realistically, guys, we need to take a wee step back and realise where we were 12 years ago and see what we've done. You can criticise games at a time. We were getting into oblivion. And now we've got a team that's winning stuff, and they've got a team with brilliant support. So you need to get a reality check on where we are. So bring on the Kelly and stop playing Saturday.
Cheers, mate. Always a pleasure.
You too.
I'm
just going back to check my manual. I'm sure it was Aberdeen. Right, boys. Good night. Good night, boys.
In the background, David. You're whistling.
Night.
All right. Okay, Magpie. I don't know if you heard at the start of the show, we asked for the three best goals you've ever seen live, because it's 43 years of Davy Cooper's goal.
I never seen that live, mate, because I think I'm trying to think. I think, Lisa, I'm trying to. I was thinking about it. I think Gassa against Hibs was the 7-0 game was something else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that one.
The day
I mean, Gassa's here.
Are you sure that was against Hibs and no Aberdeen?
It was definitely Hibs. Was that one, definitely. And I think one of the best. I think this is crazy because I'm not really a fan of his because of the way he's been since. But I think, can you remember Billy Dodds against Sturm
Yes, we beat them 5-5.
And that was one of the best Ranger performances I've ever seen. Honest to God, I played football. See the boy, the manager of their team. I played when I worked at the uni. I played with his boy. I got him to play 5-a-side for my team. He was in goals, but he's actually a centre half, and he trained with. I think his dad was the Serbian manager at one time. I can't remember, but he was unbelievable. And I remember him saying at the time, my dad said, "I've never seen a performance like that in my life. The Rangers were frightening that night." And then, of course, we went and done the Rangers thing to beat 2-0 away from home. But these were two of the best goals I can remember. I mean, David Cooper was just a hero of me, I was watching some of the old videos here, mate, and just to see just what a player Durant could have been was unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? One of the best goals I've ever seen, and because who it was against, was when Souness scored against Aberdeen. Remember, it came off the post and I think it hit late and it went in. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just loved that goal just because that was the turning for Rangers for me.
Aberdeen and no Hibs.
To me, that was the turning the Rangers. That was Rangers for me. You know what I mean?
I think that was a weekend at Fairfield, mate. I might be wrong.
It could have been. He wasn't happy with the result anyway. I remember that. You know what I mean? But Souness, I watched Souness. He was an arrogant and classy basket, wasn't he? Do you know, I sat and thought, right, some of the great players that played with Rangers well past their career, and if you got those players, if we had been lucky enough to be able to sign those players, what a team we would have. It's a world select, man. The midfield, you could have had Gas in his prime, Souness in his prime. Do you know what I mean? The Boers, both of them. That kind of team. And Chelsea and all that. It was just like some wonderful players. But this is what I don't know what you're saying, mate. What I'm saying, we have to keep our feet on the ground and not be too hard on these guys, because basically what they did last year was unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know what I mean? And it didn't cost us much money either for the team. And we're going in the right direction.
Hopefully
we're just going to be patient.
Hopefully we're going to improve in last season and be better team. But it's a big.
I believe you can tell me if I'm wrong or something, but I believe that we would go into the Europa League anyway.
Yes, we do.
Right. Well, but the truth of the matter is, right, I know what you're saying. Get some money in it. I don't like Genie just take 5-6-0 doings off anybody, unless we got our act together in time for the Champions League, or we could buy players that we could get in. We would need to, mate. We would need to spend some of that money. But I'm happy with the way the club's gone. I'm not happy with the performances. I'm not happy with the preparation. Again, it's been 0-0.
There's the big picture and the little picture. The little picture's the game on Tuesday night, and the little picture was atrocious. Big picture, we're moving in the right direction, hopefully. Anyway, we'll be joined by Blue Star. Evening, Blue Star.
Evening, Ox. Evening, guys, and the rest of the panel. Ox, just when you were talking there about memorable goals, see one for me, not so much even the one goal, it was all the goals. See the one, it was the Skull Cup final then, 1987. Obviously, you had Cooper's free kick when Ali got brought down. You had Fleck, you had McCoist, and for me, the whole game all hinged on Cooper was amazing, but Siwi Durante, for one performance for a Rangers player in a shirt against, they were a right good team then, against Aberdeen. The wee guy ran the whole game. But Ox, see the penalty in that game when it came to the shootout. One of the, if not the best, one of the best penalties I've ever seen. Trevor Francis just stood with his left leg astride of the penalty spot and just drew back his right leg. Never even took no run up or nothing and just battered it. It was just utter, unadulterated class. But Ox, on that, he's talking there about, you can't be too hard on the team. You can. You can. We're starting the new season. We're coming out. And granted, we're playing in a plastic pitch against Livingston. Now, I get the fact that we're getting new players, etc., etc. But, and it's a big but, if our players can't be motivated enough at the start of a new season, especially when there are new players in the squad, we're always getting told they've got to be fighting for places. Well, Ox, for me, the first half, especially coming out against Livingston, we were atrocious. The ball went from side to side and backwards, no penetration. We're going back to this debacle on Tuesday night there, and Ox, I've seen bad games as you have, as we all have. But for the lack of motivation, for the lack of drive, the lack of power, And we've all seen real bad games when maybe 4 or 5 players have been after a game. But for all 11, for the goalkeeper right up, I'd honestly never seen anything like it. And to do that against so poor a side that sat back for the first 20 minutes admiring us, passing a ball about, they then get a bit of a break of the ball and they say to themselves, wait a minute, this team don't have that much cop. And they started having a wee bit of a go at us. Now, I say the words a wee bit of a go at us because they never had any class. And for our players to go down so weak, so flipping powerless, I can't get my head around it. And I'll ask you all this. We know Van Bronckhorst doesn't come out and he doesn't rant and rave. But you only had to look at that guy's face sitting in that touchline and he's telling you straight after the game. He says, I couldn't believe what I was seeing for all my team. Now, we can all make superlatives and say, oh, well, we done last year, blah, 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 blah. No, guys, this is the start of a new season. We should be coming out with pace, power, and a bit of conviction. They players were weak. They were fatal. And it was just absolutely heartbreaking to watch that crap. I don't want to see that again. And I want to see a performance. We're playing at Ibrox and Saturday against Kelly. I want to see them coming out and proving their point. And my, oh my, see come Tuesday night against that shower again, they better prove it. They better show what they're capable of doing. Otherwise, Gio's got big problems. And that's no overreaction. That they 2 performances, that first half, they squared balls and the pass were backing. I don't want to see that again. I don't want to hear this rubbish for guys saying, oh, but we're still having plenty of possession. Possession means nothing. It means nothing. We watched it under Walter Smith in the 9 in a row era. Time and time again, Celtic played us off the park and Laudrup or somebody would run up the park and put the ball in it. I didn't like watching that, Ox. Yes, we were successful, but with the players that we've got, especially when it's against inferior opposition, there's no excuses. We should be blowing the teams off the park. And you hit the nail on the head there, Ox, when you turned around and says, but last season and the start of this season, we've been struggling for goals. That's the whole attitude here. That's the whole mindset. We should be pushing for goals. For me, I was mega excited, Ox, with the players that he brought in, guys like Lawrence, Matondo with pace, etc. I thought we were going to run at teams, showing a bit of pace and power for midfield. Our midfielders shouldn't be stroking balls about. It should be forward passing continuously all the time. No this sideways and backwards. Kamara, I've never seen a guy in a game and a half passing a ball backwards so much in all my life. I don't want to see that, Ox. Just my thoughts. So honestly, I was so flipping annoyed. I honestly thought we were coming out this season. We had forward-thinking players, and I've not seen it at all yet.
I agree with a lot what you say, but what I'm going to say is, I think another classic here, a team who finished runners-up in the Belgium League. All right, their history's no great, and they've just been newly promoted. But they finished the same position in their league, which is arguably more competitive than our league. Jaffa.
They did, Ox. They finished ahead of Anderlecht, with Edge, and various other big hitters by some distance. They did. So you can't underestimate them because we don't know them and they're not Club Brugge or they're not Antwerp. Their name, they're just names. They got second in the league on merit throughout the whole league. So and incidentally, they lost 4 of their top players. They've recruited some guys as well, so they're no mugs, Ox. I think you'd be foolish to think that they were mugs because they certainly ain't. But we still should have more than enough. We should have had more than enough, at least to put in a better performance and make more of a game out on Tuesday night. Because we were weak. We were weak all over the park.
Aye. GB, what disappointed me is there's loads of things, but as the game went on, I thought, okay, we'll get an hour here. We'll start getting maybe in top, and we'll look the fitter team, and we might get a goal back. At the time, it was 1-0. I was thinking that, but it never happened. None of it happened.
No, we kept getting deep.
GB, come in, my final opinion in a minute. Yep.
Not a problem.
No, we kept getting Ox. We kept going deeper and deeper and deeper, and I think you mentioned it. We ended up with about 7 defenders, and end up it was. Stevie touched on it. Tillman for me was a kind of standout guy. The first 15, 20 minutes, I was like, this boy's really up for this tonight, and I was kind of hoping that he was going to be the guy that would get us in front, kind of thing. But as the second half went on, even like you say, there was no substitutions. Well, there was substitutions, but there was nothing to change up that midfield. Kamara and Jack just totally looked dead in their feet. No ideas, nothing to help us create an attack. Tav, like you say, was totally isolated with 2 guys on him constantly. And that's been always a thing. Usually in any game that we've played really bad, especially if it's against Celtic and stuff like that, when they target Tav, it all seems to stop. And we can't do that. We can't rely on Tav to be the one that's going to be creating opportunities for us. That midfield's talented enough in there that they should be doing that themselves. And especially Big John Lundstrom, to play him as a right back was terrible. I mean, he should be up there in that midfield, doing what he was doing brilliantly last season, getting us in front and banging the goals in.
Magpie?
Right, listen, I'm just going to come back because I've not made myself understood to the chap who was on the second ago. Like, what I'm saying, these are the international players we've got. I said, take a look at our team. I said that I used to watch players playing that were on the bench and more gaps in our full team. I don't know what we're expecting the Rangers. That's the technically best team in Belgium. They could have won the league if they hadn't go to that system they played, where they had to play playoffs. And the truth of the matter is, right, we don't give anybody any credit. But what I'm trying to say to you is that we have got the team we've got. They're honest boys. They don't go out there deliberately to play badly. Maybe they got it tactically wrong. Maybe that team are much fitter than us. Maybe that team have got a togetherness that we don't have at this moment in time. There's a number of things. But we've got about 5 or 6 players that have been pivotal for us in Europe for the last 2 years. You can include McGregor and Stephen Davis in there if you wanted to. I mentioned Morelos. I mentioned Roof, the goal for the halfway line. We're missing big game players. And we've got a new guys. That was his second. That was his first. Was it his first competitive game that we got for Belgium, the Welsh lad? What are we expecting? We're away from home. Right, we're not a great team. We have to understand that. We are not a great team. We are a good team. On the day, we can beat a number of good teams. But we ain't the team we talked about it that we used to be. We're a work in progress, Ox. So am I shocked to be get beat? No. Am I shocked about performance? Yes. Am I angry about performance? Yes. But you know something? I said to you before, mate, my priority as a fan is to win that bloody league back. That's what I want more than anything. Because I don't know about you guys, but that's it. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. How many international players have you got in our defence, mate?
Borna and Sam.
One, right? So tell me, Taff, has he got any international caps? Goldstein?
No, they haven't. No, Jack.
Oh, there we go. McLaughlin's got about 1 cap. That's what I'm trying to say, mate. This is a team. We're not a team full of international players. Do you know, you've got to get when I say cut them slack for what they've done last year, they must be exhausted. Look, mate, we were dominating games last year. We dominated the semi-final against them. We dominated the semi-final against them. We dominated the Braga game, mate, but we couldn't win in 90 minutes because we couldn't score goals.
There was 8 internationals started that game on Tuesday.
Aye, but how many caps? So I didn't say. I said how many caps. Hawks, how many caps?
I would say that the most cap players.
Are you saying they're a Champions League team? Are you saying Rangers are a Champions League team?
Not at the moment, no.
Well, that's what I said, mate. That's all I said. That's all I said.
I don't think the other team in the opposition.
No, I said that in the lobby. I said I'm looking forward to them getting downs. And they will.
It's not about getting beat 2-0. You can get beat 2-0 in a game of football. We've been at
I said that to you, mate.
Magpie, let me finish, mate. Yeah, let me finish. You can get beat 2-0. I'll take this to Jaffa. You can go and you can play really well. You hit the post, you hit the bar, the goal of Daves, it gets kicked off the line, the team break away and score. Then you pound them for the next door, and you put everybody up front in the last 5 minutes to break away and score again. You say we get beat 2-0. It was one of the nights, but that wasn't the one of the Jaffa, was it?
And that's what I said to you. I said it was a shocking performance. But I'm just saying this is the team that we've got. We're not superstars. We ain't.
I don't think. I don't think we. I think, in all honesty, Magpie, I think we are. I think we could be a Champions League team. And I don't. I'll break that down. I'm not talking for a minute saying that we're going to, we're competing with the top end of it. But there are parts of the Champions League, especially the third and fourth teams, that I think we're as good as some of the teams that have been. I mean, for example, PSV Eindhoven and Monaco. They're the two standout teams. Sturm Graz and Dynamo Kiev. I think we're at that level. And if that gets into pot 3 or pot 4 of the Champions League, then I think that's where Rangers are. We got to a European final, Magpie. I know the team's been a bit disjointed. There's a few players left, Bassi and Aribo, who holding on to Aribo. We simply couldn't have done that, Magpie. I mean, the guys exercised these rights. We get made an offer of £10 million. The guy's got to go.
What I mean is, they could have said to him, "Look, we're going to let you go. Could you play those Champions League matches, qualifiers? And you can go." Then he may have no choice. He might have excelled in those games.
All he done was at the end of the season, he said, "There's a £10 million clause in my contract. I'm gone." He never even returned to pre-season. There was a gentleman's agreement. He shook hands, he exercised his rights, and he's gone. With the greatest respect, I agree with most of the stuff, but with that, you're in cuckoo land. Yeah.
Right, well, see what I was saying to you there, right? When I'm talking about Champions League team, I'm not talking about you going and being cannon fodder. I don't want to be going and cannon fodder. I'm just saying we're not at that level to play the Chelseas and the Man Cities just now. Now. I never said that we weren't going to be. I said this is a work in progress. That was my exact words. This team just now aren't prepared to go into a Champions League. They might have been able to get money if they get through the qualifying rounds to buy better quality players. But tactically, we lost 7 matches in Europe last year. 7. People forget that. And we were the way performances under Gio weren't great. It was very similar to what we've seen there. Right, and that wasn't against the Dortmund game was the exception to the rule, mate. What I'm saying is, we have got good players. I accept that. But they're not. We're talking. Like somebody says, we shouldn't compare those players to the players we are. We shouldn't. They're no good. They're not in that class. That's what I'm trying to say. So we shouldn't be shocked if they get beat with a decent European team.
I don't think the argument is we get beat. And I'll take this. I'll take this to Stevie. Mike, there's 6 people on the call. You just need. Hold your wish for a wee minute, mate. Stevie, it's not the fact we get beat. We've all seen our team get beat before. What disappointed everybody was the performance and the manner of defeat. Stevie?
100%, Ox. You heard my opening speech. I wanted 11 of them stood against a wall. Not one of the players played to the level that they can play. I mean, I'm judging the players on them. No, what we used to have on the past and all that, because that's a total different ball game. The players we used to watch, the players never. To me, it was part management fault, part players' fault. I didn't see enough fight, determination, guile. I just seen nothing. I don't know. I mean, there was players. I don't want to particularly pick any player out, but Ryan Jack, they're a guy there that normally would dive in front of any ball, tackle any man. I just didn't see that. The team you couldn't defend them. It was embarrassing. Totally and utterly embarrassing. And something that's starting to stick macro on Uox is we all know where we were so many years ago, but we've regrouped, we've drew a line, we've been to a European final, our finances were a lot more stabler on and off the park, and we need to stop looking back and say where we've been. Now, I'm sorry, I don't want to disagree. I don't like disagreeing with any players, but they were undefendable the other night. There was the one of them. There was the one of them worthy of wearing that badge, and that's the bottom line. And do you know, I felt sorry for all the travelling supporters. 1,300 of them spent their hard-earned cash to look at that Rangers team. And can I tell you something? There was probably fans in that team would have put up a better fight than what they did that night. That was a joke, absolute joke from start to finish. You're a goal down, you look for your management to change it to try and get a goal back, and it didn't happen. I just, the whole thing was flat, it wasn't right, and the players got to look at themselves too. They did not leave everything out there. They didn't give that jersey 100%. And I'm sorry, I can't. I'm always one for trying to look for the positive out the game and try and rally the troops, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I haven't even listened to any Rangers forums, looked at the game again. I've done nothing because I was that angry about the way they played the other night. And I really mean that. And it's undefendable. There's no way you can defend that performance in any shape or form. And they better get their fingers out on Saturday, because there's going to be 50,000. Now, we all know we're a hard audience. We see you get 50,000 bears with a bitter taste in their mouth after watching that crap. They better get their fingers out, these guys. They better start getting it together. Now, they're all big. They're all, I mean, we've paid a few bob out for some of these players, you know. And it doesn't matter how many international caps are. If Gio's brought them in, they must be a no bad player. They've just, as I said earlier on, I'm just glad the horror stories happen so early in the season. Let's hope they can pick it up and go on with it for here.
Ox, can I come in there?
You go, boss.
Ox, I take on board with Jaffa and the likes of that saying, but I'll ask you this question: we know our finances aren't great. Yes, we got a few bob for last season, and he spent a few bob. Tell me this: is our manager paying the best part of in excess of 10 million quid on two defenders to play in Scotland? I'll tell you the exact answer to that. Unadulterated, definitely no. He's buying players of that calibre and that price to play in Europe. He tell you straight, so we can't have any platitudes about saying, oh, we're not a Champions League team. We all know we're not a Champions League team, but you've got to be in a thing to get better. You play against the best, your players become better. The fact of the matter is they were playing for big bucks that our club can't accumulate in Scotland. Gosh, over 10 years just to get into one group. Now, we all know that they play in a Belgian league, that the calibre of team and player is probably a lot better than what we're playing against. All the more reason why your players should have been shown exactly what Stevie's saying. And Stevie's bang on what he says, Ox. We all know he doesn't like slagging our team. Then he is dead. But that performance, and I'll add it again, the first half against Livingston at the start of a new campaign, it's utterly unacceptable. So if we're spending in excess of 10 million quid in two defenders, incidentally, who didn't play, but for me, the most driving force in your team is your midfield and your attack. Now, we only spent 2 million on the big guy. Morelos only cost us £1 million, and we all know that the sample of our club now is to bring in players cheap and try and sell them on. We know that. But for me, the new, and I spoke to JFK on this, Ox, I know we've got players that are still injured. We all know that. But surely, to goodness, when we were accumulating the money for last season, do you honestly think we should have had at least another striker in? I can't get my head around this. I know these forums and everything, and I dare say the big guy's been taking a pound. And listen, see, for me, Big Kolak's movement, for me, is first class. I think he has been moving into areas.
So
the other night,
traditional number 9, mate, a sniffer. That's what he is.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Ox. And one of the best moves that we did on Tuesday night, the big guy got the ball out in the wing and he smashed the ball across the area. Unfortunately, nobody there. That was the ball that big guy should have been getting on the end of it. But nobody was there to give him the kind of balls. He's running all over the park trying to get a ball. And incidentally, we all know what Morelos can do. How many games did we see Morelos getting frustrated for the exact same thing? He was having to drop deeper and deeper, trying to get the ball off midfielders. No, for me, there was no drive, none whatsoever, from our midfield to our attack. And that has to change, and that, as Stevie says, that must change for Saturday's game and for the rest of the season. Because, as I say, the way we came out in platitudes just don't cover it. The first half against Livingston, never mind against Europe, Livingston, we knew what we were facing. Our team was absolutely drastic in that first half, and that shouldn't be happening. We should be coming out for the first whistle and dominating. And as yet, we've not seen it at all. So here's hoping it gets better.
In the last 3 games, we've played one friendly, one competitive in the league, and one European tie. We've won 2 halves.
Exactly, mate. And that's just not acceptable. Not at the start of your season. You can't have that.
You know,
it's not about fitness. He's told you straight that they've put them through their pre-season, and granted, we've brought players in, but most of the players we've brought in weren't they playing. Certainly not against Livingston. And it's just to see that in the first half at the start of a flipping championship. That shouldn't be happening in a Glasgow Rangers team. No matter what kind of players you've got in the park. As Stevie says, you've got to show a bit of fight and aggression. The first half against Livingston, that's why I go back to that, Ox, because I couldn't believe what I was watching. And then to follow it up on Tuesday to see it even worse, that's mind-blowing. That's really worrying. It is.
Okay, man, all right. Jaffa, Jaffa, we've got to get there Tuesday. It's gone. We can't influence it now. It's gone. Yeah. And I think we're all pretty much agreed, mate. Jaffa?
It's all about Saturday, Ox. It's all about getting, as a footballer, you can't look back. They've got to regroup. He's got to get them together. He's got to get the tactics right on Saturday and get, first and foremost for me, Ox, more important than anything else, the attitude's got to be right. He's got to get the team on the park with the attitude. They've got to go out and win the game. And from the very first minute, put a performance in. Give us a 90-minute performance. And I'm sure that if the team play to the levels that they can play at, the goals will come. And the goals, and that will breed confidence, and that will give them the bump that they need going into Tuesday night. Because that's what they need. They need a boost of confidence. If we get Kent back, depending on where his injury is, I mean, they did say it wasn't serious, so let's hope he's back and he's been back training. And potentially, there's a potential that Morelos may well get some minutes. Obviously, he needs match fitness, so we can't expect too much of the guy. He's been out for a few months, and he's had a bad injury. So, but if he's ready to go, it would be good to see Morelos on the park, at least getting, even if it's half an hour, because Morelos on the bench on Tuesday night, that half an hour could be pivotal in the game.
All right, talking about people who's always pivotal, we'll be joined by Bob Ger. Evening, Bob Ger.
Evening, lads. It's really, really interesting to listen to your opinions. I mean, you're all spot on. You're exactly right. But all I can say is a postscript to, if you want to call it that. We are where we are. We're 2-0 down to that team. We had a net performance in the first half at Livingston. So here we go, headlong into this game against Kilmarnock this Saturday, and it's got to be better. We cannot afford another performance like that on Tuesday night. Or you're maybe looking at a disaster of a season. That's the enormity of what could happen. So
I don't think it's become a disastrous season, Bob. I'm
not saying it has, Ox. I'm saying it potentially could. Potentially good.
Your priority every year is the league.
Well,
the bonus, isn't it?
Well, I've been looking at the fixtures here, and we've got a few tough games coming up, and along with league games here and in Europe, and we've got to be ready for it. Christ, we're the Glasgow Rangers. We must be up for it all. And they certainly weren't up for it on Tuesday. And that's been well covered with the boys. They're absolutely right.
I agree with you, mate. It was abysmal. Stevie, we've not your goals yet. I'm waiting.
Blue Star went and let the cat out the bag with one of them. David Cooper free kick. Skull Cup Aberdeen at Hampton.
1986. 87.
7. I can remember Jim Layton said he nearly got to it, and David Cooper said to him, on the way out. By the way, what a free kick, man. What a nap.
I've never seen a football happen, mate.
Aye. And I think my number would be...
I'm the same net that he scored that famous goal, mate.
Yeah, correct. Aye, Driver Cup. Aye, and I believe Sandy Jardine scored some goal that game or not. The Driver Cup, did they not?
A point for Drumchapel as well.
Aye.
Yeah.
John McDonald, no John McDonald.
John McDonald.
John, was it wee John, wee solo?
19-year-old, aye.
Aye, there you go. I sit with wee John sometimes up the halls there. But anyway, that would be my number 3, the Davy Cooper free kick. My number 2 would be none other than Butch Wilkins, the 5-1 game against them. I mean, see when that ball left his foot, you just knew it was in the net before God got the news. And of course, the bells were gone potty, it was absolutely fantastic. All in Ibrox were gone AWOL, and we know what that led to, that just led to domination, I think I'm stuck between two here. I'm actually stuck with, there's Hunners, isn't there, really? I'm stuck between Big Bertie Bombshell, Big Bertie's 30-yarder against them at Hampden, and Hugo Egeog's overheat kick at Parkhead, all the ones that I've seen, but there's tons of different ones, guys, isn't there, really? But what I will do is I'll see Hugo Egeog's overhead kick for a simple reason: the big man's no longer with us, and what a overhead kick that was that day. And Parkhead, I can't tell the true stories on air, but just let me tell you what a day that was. What a day.
All right. Do you know, I think there's a better volley than Wilkins' volley, and it's again because of the way the league campaign petered out, and I think it was Jonas Terns against them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can I come in for a second? I just remember the goals. Right, Gas has 2 goals against Aberdeen when we won the league. The goal against Leeds United, Alan Acoy's, was unbelievable. Yeah. That was a special goal. And the best goal I've ever seen, you'll see it on YouTube. I was at the game. It was a Dortmund one, remember? The second goal, Rod Wallace. That's about 13, 14 passes. It was unbelievable. So they just can flooding back to me. Just that's my 3 goals, buddy.
Aye, good shout, mate. Good shouts. And good goals in there. I'll get GB's been busy on YouTube checking them all out.
It brings back memories of the old Parma, Rangers v Parma and all that. They times were great, and Moles against Bayern Munich away as well. That was great times. It's just
Moles against Bayern Munich away.
No,
that's when he got injured.
Hame. Hame. I mean, totally. Like I says, there's so many. Even Barry Mackay's against Celtic.
Oh, that was a screamer, mate. That was a screamer.
That was a top draw goal and all. You mean?
Can I get you 3 up?
Yes, of course, Bob. Yeah.
Aye. Well, like the boys are saying, they're picking out all these wonderful examples. Brilliant. To me, the great Davy Cooper, the Driver Cup, if that had been Zico or Amarildo or any of these wonderful players of the day, well, you'd still have been seeing it yet. But it was somebody, as you said earlier on, filmed it for the back of the goal. What a piece of skill. Unbelievable. And again, it's going to be the same player, the free kick against Aberdeen. I was right at the side of it that day. And the way the ball hit the back of the net, look at that staunching still there. It really bent it out. But one I'd like to pick out, and a lot of the older guys will mind this, was a magnificent strike with the late great Kai Johansson in the Scottish Cup final against Celtic. He hit it first time. It screamed right into the corner of the net. Line runners up. I remember that. I was 16.
All right. Jaffa, were you at that game, Kai Johansson?
No, for me, but I'll tell you, one goal was one of my early days of being a Rangers fan. Only a kid. Bobby Russell's goal against PSV Eindhoven. I'd have loved to have been there for that goal. That was a brilliant goal. We beat them 3-2.
1978, aye.
1978. Third 3 brilliant goals. In fact, the PSV's 2 goals were brilliant that night as well. They were all crackers. Alec McDonald scored a dive leader.
One at a time. Magpie.
Sorry, did
It's
you
a freak goal that got us off fully emotion, and it was a freak goal. Big Nisbet's against FC Bruges. How long did that ball seem to be in the air?
By the way, we need a couple of goals against Belgium team next Tuesday. Big Nisbet's goal and Roof's goal.
Oh, aye.
Cal McGregor's was a good one last year as well. That own goal. I always like an own goal for him, man. Fine.
Aye, some great goals in there. Obviously, Kai Hansen's is a famous goal. That Eindhoven one for UGB, you'll find it's there. I think there's a goal that Kenny Watson hit it, and Derek Johnson, he does it, mate. You'd have ducked out the way. And I think that made it 2 each, and that was a hard shot, and he could hit a ball, that boy. But you'll not believe this, GB. The game's in black and white.
Oh, well, that's way back in the time machine for me.
Aye, the game's in black and white. Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Don't think there was colour deduction. Anyway, we've been joined by Andy Felix, who's phoning up, I think, to give us his 3 goals. Yeah, how we doing, Andrew?
No bad. I'm not. I think you've all covered it right enough. All I'll say is just totally disgraceful. Totally agree with Stevie and Blue Star. I think they had it spot on right down to the tee. I think that Shugs has recovered from my battering for him for the last 2 days, so I'll just be here tonight.
I feel sorry for Shugs.
Yeah, actually agreed with me right enough, but oh boy, Bob Bugger took it right. Both barrels right enough. But
I heard that whisper. I'm no one for spreading rumours, as you know.
Go on then.
I heard that whisper that when you phoned him up, he put the phone down, went and made some toast, tea, sat down, finished it, picked it up, and you were still talking, still ranting.
That could probably be right, but about 6 hours before it, he had his phone off. We're just going to have to get on with it. The worrying thing, if you want to be honest, is they come out like that, and for everyone in the team not to perform, I can't get my head around that at all. Major worries. If we're going to get through, I mean, we're looking at we're going to have to get 3 goals. It could be 4 because they can't defend for fun. So let's hope we get out of Hybrids first half, and at least we need to get at least 2 up in the first half, in my opinion, in that one. Anyway, on to the goals. On to my goals. Obviously, the Driver Cup final, David Cooper, without a doubt, great goal. Well, there were 3 cracking goals in that game. Sean McDonald, Sandy Jardine as well. I mean, Sandy's was a beauty, wasn't it?
He ran
yeah.
Yes.
But it wasn't a great crowd that day. It was only mid-30s, if I remember, 30,000 odd. It was quite sparse that day. Unusual for a game. I remember thinking that at the time. The second one was Colin Steen against the Minifilth. Jesus Christ, what a goal that was. And the significance of it, right enough. I got through about it.
See if you go and check that goal out on YouTube. It was some cross with Bobby McKean, but look at the skill for Sandy Jardine before it, mate.
I know. I'll never forget that day. I got thrown about more than Robert Studbuck there, right enough that day, to be honest. We were only away at the time, like, you know. And what's that one called? And Derek Johnson's and the treble winning side in the Scottish Cup final. He actually scored before the English FA Cup final got kicked off. So they would be my 3, but there's millions of them. Yeah, he best either in the ball going, wasn't he? You know, that one against Wales as well. You mind that one?
Yeah, that 1976 against Hearts.
Yeah.
And you sure it's against Hearts and it wasn't against Hibs?
Well, you know, give him a bit of slack. There is a bit of a difference between green and white and red, isn't there? You know what I mean? I'm shooting at the phone. No, it's definitely Hibs. It's definitely them. But yeah, I love it. You got to love him, haven't you? But yeah, they love it. There's a million to pick from, though, isn't there? Let's be honest. I was changing it while I was thinking about it there, but no.
Here's Foxy's 3. Foxy's come in with his 3. We will get Fox back on the show. He's dealing with the technicals, but we'll hear from him soon. He's went for 2 guy, the one he scored for the corner. McCoy's header against Leeds and his best ever goal. I don't think he was at the game, but Mulgear was roof for the halfway line. I get where he's coming from. It was some strike, wasn't it? And the weather conditions that night, Stevie, made it even more spectacular, didn't it?
100%. 100%. You will see it. It'll take a long while before you see a goal like that again for the Teddy Bears. I mean, he held the two boys off. He stuck the ball round the other player, ran round him, had a squint up and belted it. And man, it flew on. The keeper was wired up in the net and everything. But the conditions that night, I'll never forget it. The conditions that night were just cats and dogs the whole night, raining. And aye, what a goal, what a strike. I can see why he's went for that, aye.
Some special goals, Jaffa.
Oh, some crackers. That roof goal. I always love a goal when you put the goalie in the net as well with the ball. That's that's a bit like getting black and red at the same time.
Aye, man. Andy, some great goals, great memories, huh? Big Johnston, was he the best header of the ball? You gone for him, the best header of the ball?
Yeah, I loved him. He's my favourite. I mean, good goal return. You know, could play at centre half. If hadn't played at centre half as many times, I think he'd have scored more goals, to be honest with you. I think he was the first modern day striker. I think he could lead the line on his own. He was strong, push people away. You get all manner of goals. If you ever look at Derek Johnson's video goals, he put the ball in his napper 9 times out of 10 it was in the rigging. What a player! I loved him. It was good seeing him there up at the race night and all that. Oh, by the way, Stevie, I've sent that Rangers 72 to you on your messenger. You should be able to watch it.
All right, thanks, mate. That's smashing. Thank you.
It's a good watch, Andy. Yeah?
Oh, I've seen it about 15 times, man. And I tell you what, a tear comes to my eye every time.
Andy, did you manage to get a wee photo with DJ?
Say again?
Did you manage to get a wee photo at the race night with Big Derek?
No, to be honest with you, Steve, I don't do that. I'll say hello to him and all that, right? I'm not quite good with that right enough. I spoke to him a little bit, right? He signed the programme for my lady because she fancied him like mad, like at the time, you know, when we were younger, like she thought it was the bee's knees. I did for scoring goals right enough. So we've got a that wee programme signed, the re-race night programme signed for a like. He was quite happy with that.
He had his medal on his chain. He had the medal with him on his chain. I had his chain on with the medal. I was only there talking for the simple reason it was a pal of mine that brought him, you know. And I'm very much the same as you. I like to give them their privacy, you know. But he was sitting with my pal Alec, and Alec actually brought him. So when I out to talk to Alec, obviously I said hello. And I ended up with his chain with the medal on. But lovely big guy, nice big fella.
Yeah, well, the best one I've ever had was with Durant and Derek Ferguson. Like, we were in the district, and they come in, they were all mobbing, and I just sat in the corner. And the touring came and sat down in the stadium for about 3 or 4 hours, man. Jesus, I think I got them a bit pissed, to be honest with you. But they were brilliant with me, like, you just sat there. I think it was because people weren't crowding round. There were guys asking them to sign their arms for tattoos and all that. I just looked up, said, oh, brilliant. 2 were greats in the pub. They come and sat with the 2 ladies, sat with me all night. Yeah, they invited us to a party, but a guy that we had, like, was a bit of a character, so we couldn't go. We got kicked out. But that was my claim to fame with him. That was a few 4 hours great. They were fantastic. Just like talking to ourselves in the club and all that. Never forget it. Brilliant night.
Who's left us? Is Bob just still with us?
I'm still here, pal.
All right.
It's a point I'd like to digress a wee bit on. I don't know if any of you have heard or not, but Omar Sadiq has signed for Borussia Dortmund for 25 million.
Aye, well, listen, we had him 4 years ago, mate. He hardly played for us. He had a disaster in the semi-final against Aberdeen.
Right. Yeah,
I don't think we ever seen him again after that, did we?
The point I'm making is to see how times can change for players. He looked nothing to us, and knew he's the big fella that signed for Manchester City. He's apparently his replacement. So there you go.
I think it was Magpie made the point earlier on about our football, because you don't get a progression, you don't get to play football. I think that's a great point, Jaffa.
Yeah.
Well, you don't. It's I mean, how many players? I know there's been a few in more recent times. Some of the young lads, like the lad that went over to Bologna and stuff like that, and he's now signed for Brentford for 20 million Hickey. But when you compare it to other leagues, Bob Ger, they're producing players like 10 a penny. Because they get the chance. The football leagues allow them to flourish. They allow the players to flourish, but I think, as we know in Scotland, you don't get any time in the ball. It's look what we played against last Saturday. They didn't water the park, so they discouraged the football getting played right away. And secondly, we're playing on AstroTurf.
Well, Graham Souness had the perfect description years ago, didn't he, about hammer throwers, and he's exactly right. And it's no change much, and it never will. That's just what we're going to have to put up with. That's the league we're in. That's where we are. So we'll just have to put up with it. Simple as. A lot of hammer throwing coming our way.
Well, gentlemen, you'll not believe this, Stevie. We've reached that time of the evening.
Can it be?
What do you think? Was that a slow or a fast 2 hours for you?
Oh, it was a quick 2 hours, that, definitely.
I think the old Malteser kid stole the show. What do you think?
Hibsed it.
He hibsed it.
I think Davey's cuddled up with his nurse now.
Oh, he was whistling when he was getting off that call. That's a sign, isn't it? That's a sign. Anyway, give us your last words, Bob Chair.
Aye, a really, really good show, as always. There's no such a thing as a bad show on Rangers Radio. It's great all the time. That's why opponents say regularly. That's why we all do, because we love it.
Cheers, mate.
And I'll see you next week sometime. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Well done, Andy. I'm proud of you.
I made a point of that, to be honest with you. But look, onwards and upwards. We're all in. Let's see whether these new players and the players are all in. Get over it and get out and win on Saturday.
We'll find out a lot about them in the next 5 days, mate.
We found quite a lot there the other night, right enough. That's the worry. But, as I say, we've got to just get up now. It's gone now. We can mump with gums, as Ashog says to there. He says, you're not changing it. We've just got to make sure that he gets his tactics and his team selection right on Saturday, and we go forth and set ourselves up in a good frame of mind to go for Tuesday. But it's all about Saturday. And I want a big win there on Saturday, I'll be honest with you.
All right, mate. Cheers, mate. GB.
Aye, thanks for having us on, and thanks for the lads for supporting us tonight as well. As onwards and upwards, Ox. At the end of the day, there's nothing much we can do about the other night there. But the reassuring thing is that we're all thinking the same. It's not as if we're moaning about the team or anything like that. We are all concerned about what's been going on and how the team are playing. But onwards and upwards to Saturday.
Jaffa.
Yep, likewise, Ox. Obviously, glad to be on Rangers Radio again. Thanks for having me on, and looking forward to a big performance on Saturday. One game at a time for me.
Cheers, mate. The one and only Big Stevie.
I would just like to say, if Davey's still listening, make sure you turn that manual of yours upside down the right way, because it was definitely Hibs. A wee shout out to Big Mark Beavy and the Whiskey Bond, who's still working away, putting a great into Britain. And thanks for having me. It's been good working with Jaffa and Young GB and a lot of good callers tonight. And by the way, I hate talking about Rangers, they're wise, but that was unbelievable the other night. And let's just draw a line, Bears, and let's get behind them on Saturday. Come on then, Glasgow Rangers.
Can I thank Davey, who's always good fun. Magpie, who's always welcome on this show. Blue Star, good caller as well. Of course, Bob, Jer and Andy, two of our stalwarts. Thank GB, Jaffa and Stevie for coming on the show, and Fox for hosting the night. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. But we'll be joined by the one and only Southside, and Mr. Bridge will be with us. Take it away, or should I say Mr. Southside and Southside Sauce. Take it away, Old School Blue.